What's up, guys? Welcome to my big announcement. Ooh, I told you that there was gonna be a big announcement later tonight. Yeah. So first of all, before we get into our big announcement, and this is where I will put like a time frame, like in giant text across the video, saying that like where the big announcement begins. Let's talk about some pretty recent events. So, as of recording today, I was fired on June. Hold up. As of recording today, Friday, June 12th, I was fired from my job because I wanted to sit down. Because I wanted to sit down. Funniest part, watching the door. Now, I worked at Walmart, and I don't know if you've been there, you probably have, but as you know, Walmart has greeters, and those greeters usually just say hi and goodbye when you're leaving and entering the store. And so I was doing that, right? And my legs were getting kind of sore and tired. And I was just like, man, I don't want to do this. I want to sit down. So I went and grabbed a chair from the Subway that's usually typically in the stores, right? And then one of the leaders came up to me and was just like, do you have an accommodation from a doctor? And I was like, no. I was like, well, you can't be sitting if you don't have an accommodation from a doctor, and also you can't be, like, sitting on a Subway chair. And I was just like, fine. So then let's go, like, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, I got tired of standing, because I had to stand there for an hour. And I had to do doors for 2 hours. One was at one door and one was at the other door because they are losing hours. I'll get into that later before my big announcement as well. I just want to be venting real quick. And so about 15, 20 minutes later, I just went to the back of the customer desk because that's where they kept like the stools and stuff there for the people who usually get to sit up on the thing. Because then I was just like, well, I mean, I guess I can't get yelled, well, I guess I can't use the Subway chair, even though I have a couple of times. Like, keep in mind, like, I haven't got yelled at before. Keep in mind, I haven't gotten yelled at before when I would sit down at, like, the, doors while watching them. And, like, the chairs were already there. I wouldn't get yelled at for sitting on them. And then I was going to go back around the counter. I went back around the counter, grabbed the stool, was on my way out, and then another leader was just like, do you have an accommodation for that? And I was just like, no. She's like, well, you can't be sitting on the thing if you don't have an accommodation from the doctor. And I was like, oh, fine. So upsettedly, I had to stand in the door for the rest of the hour, and this was like, yeah, dude, the door was long. It was long. Oh my god. An hour there felt like an eternity, dude. And with the, I'll actually do that later, I say. But yeah, blah, 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 blah. So after that hour was finished, I had to go to the other door and sit there for an hour too, because I have nothing else to do because they're too damn lazy to teach me. Because like I had yet to even learn to register, even though that was supposed to be like a day one thing for me. I was like, no, I never learned to register. No, I ain't done nothing but just do stupid stuff with the shelves and watch the door. And yeah, I was on my way over there. I went over there, and then the one team person leader thing was just like, I need to go grab something. Can you follow him? So I followed the dude that I was chill with. I enjoyed working with him. Keep in mind, some coworkers were awesome. Some other ones were just like complete assholes. So I was following the dude and I was just talking to him. Like I didn't think anything of it. Like I thought they were just like I thought they were just like, he doesn't want to watch the door, man. Let's just get someone else to do it. So now I was like kind of happy, and I was just talking to the dude, and then we started going in the back room, going to the one office, and I was just like minding my own business. I mean, I sort of knew I was going to get a talking to, because, I mean, I was thinking that the one person that I was, like, rude with air quotes, thought that I was trying to be disrespectful to them, even though I was taking out the sarcasm on the store, right? It was, like, the sarcasm. I was like, oh, wow! Oh, can't sit down, gotta stand for an hour, my legs are sore. Like, I wasn't being disrespectful directly to the person, right? So I was just being sarcastic and taking it out mostly on the store and like how stupid the rules are. So I was thinking I was getting into talking to that, and I was just like, before you sit down, I was not being disrespectful to that person. I'm sorry if that person thought I was being disrespectful to them. I was just taking my anger out on the store the whole to avoid being disrespectful to the person. Because I was already in trouble from getting disrespectful to you. even though you were pretty disrespectful to me in the first place when I got yelled at by you. And then she was just like, that's not what we're here about. So, you know, though, so, you know, you can't be sitting when you're watching the door. And I was just like, my legs were sore. My legs were getting tired from standing. If I stand too long, stand still, you know, my legs are getting sore. And it's just like, I can't move around because I get yelled at if I'm not centered in front of the door. You know? So it was just like, we should have gotten a doctor's accommodation for that. And I was just like, you can get that? I always tell people my legs get sore after a bit of standing. And they're just like, get over with it. It's typical. It's typical. And then something, just so you know, I think it's time for us to part ways. All because I wanted to sit at the door. So I was just like, dude, really? Really? So yeah, that's how I lost my job, because I wanted to sit down at the door and still continue to do the job the same way. Like, it's not like me sitting down was going to prevent me from like doing what I was supposed to do at the door, you know, greet the people, check their receipts if needed. Like, all that. Sitting, keep in mind, dude. I was still doing everything but standing. And sitting is what I get yelled at for. And then a little more on the store itself, I guess. That store is going to shit. Like, I'd say about 2-3 weeks into me working there. I've been there only for like 2.5 months at this point. Next month would have been my 3rd month there, so I'd say about 2.5. No, I've actually only been there for 2 months now that I'm realizing it, because I got hired on like April 9th. April, May, yeah. April 9, so 2 months. 2 months working there. 2 months and 2 days, pretty much. And about like the first, let's go. But the first like 3 weeks into my shift, into my time being there, they begin to cut hours so heavily. And keep in mind, the end of the quarter. The previous quarter was, I think, the final week of April, if not the first week of May. So, like, I understood that they were cutting hours then, right? And then they were just like, hey, we don't need you to come in, so you can just, like, take the rest of the week off or something. But, I mean, I didn't hear the message until I got there, so it was just like, well, I'm here, can I just work, like, a minimum shift, so that way, like, you guys don't get yelled at for, like, going overtime on the hours? And she was just like, sure, 4 hours is, like, the longest shift I can have you doing. I was like, alright, I'll do that. So yeah, I did that, worked that, did that, and then, I kid you not, like 2 weeks later, they, like, began to cut complete hours. Like, I would work, typically during school, 4:30 to 4 to 10:30, 4:30 to 10, somewhere around those lines. They brought me down to going 5 to, like, 8. 5 to 8. 3 hours, pretty much. Not really, that's just exaggerating. It was typically like 4 or 5 hours. They cut my hours by like half of what I usually would work. I can't remember if I have a Goldwater. I mean, yeah, doesn't matter, I'll check later. But, yeah, so they cut hours. I was just like, hey, why were my hours cut, man? I need the money. Oh my god, I forgot about something funny too I also need to bring up too. But I'll get that about when I'm done with this. But then the person who made the schedules for like the whole store was just like, well, part-timers are usually the first priority of hour cut. So I was just like, alright. Funnier part, they continued to hire people. They were running low on hours, but continued to hire people. I would go past the hiring room. I'd say in like the span of 2 weeks, I've seen at least 20 to 25 people in, like, not in that room, but like over the course of those 2 weeks. I'd say, like, I think it was like a group of maybe 7. Alright, let's go 21. But, I was so confused. It's just like, if you're low on hours, why the hell are you hiring more people? Now, to be fair, I didn't say that outright, but I mean, I've been, like, I've been nagging about it and stuff like that. Alright, it's nothing, but I'll go check it out when I'm done with this. But, yeah, so that's what got me sort of upset. You know, I was getting less money in my pocket, you know, and that was really upsetting me. So there's that. I think I do have a gold fire sprite. I can't remember. And then let's go to the funny part, the funny story that I was talking about. So I was working one night, and there was this, like, family that came in, right? I was just working the aisle, because, like, that was what I had to do. I had to, like, work the aisle, stock it. They walked right past me, and then their two kids just started, like, I was in the craft aisle too, so I guess I'll just say that right. Their two kids started to, like, grab, like, those little clay packets that you can find on the shelves. Started stomping on them, crushing them, biting into them. I was just like, what the fuck? And I did not want to step in, because I was scared of getting yelled at. Because when you're hired, you are told to not step into any customer wrongdoings. And then I'll get back to the door thing, because this also has to bring up. But, I was too scared to step in, so I just waited till they were all done. And I went there and, like, had to grab, like, half of the clay items that were ruined. Like, half of them were ruined on that clay shelf. And then some in the next aisle, because they had, like, 2 clay sections for some reason. And then I was just like, I was over the walkie, I'd say like 15 minutes later, because I was scared. I didn't know what to do, so I asked someone for help, and they were just like, you should probably call the main, like, leader that's there the night. And I was just like, alright, bet. And then, like, the dude also said that she was working with someone right now, so I was scared, so I was just, like, waiting for another couple minutes to, like, make sure that I was done. And I was just like, hey, is so-and-so available? I have some vandalism from customers, and I do not know if there's, like, a you break it, you buy it rule, because I openly watch them break it and, like, destroy the property and stuff like that. Well, I'll say the quote I said. I was just like, hey, guys, some customer let their kids get up into the dang clay thing or something along those lines. They destroyed and, like, bit into, like, half of the clay products that we had on the shelves. And nothing came about it. I had to, like, go over the walkie, like, 3 times, right? And then I was, like, and then it was too late. They were already leaving. So, like, even if there was a you break it, you buy it rule, they wouldn't really they would get away with it. Because they were pretty much, like, leaving by the time that the person came over. And also, I don't, like, and then the person was just like, well, did you stop them? And I was just like, no, I was scared to, and I don't think they understood English at all. And I mean that sincerely. I do not think those people understood English at all. I mean that entirely. And then the person was just like, well, no is universal. And I was just like, I get that, but I was also scared of, like, interfering and getting yelled at for interfering too, because we're told not to interfere with anything. Because lawsuits, keep in mind you, lawsuits, people. So yada yada yada, the stuff gets settled. So then I come in, I think the next day, if not a day later. And the first, like, 20 minutes of my shift, I was just minding my own thing, and then another leader came over to me and was just like, hey, I need to talk to you about what happened the other day, about those kids biting and, like, destroying the clay and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, it was gross. I had to throw away, like, half of them. Some of them were wet because they were in this one kid's mouth. And yeah, it pretty much took a while before anyone ever got to it. And it was just like, yeah. And then she also brought, and then she brought up, well, I would also like to have you know, some people heard you say damn over the walkie. I was just like, huh? And it was just like, yeah, it's a family-friendly environment, and we cannot have you saying damn or anything like that over the walkie. And I was just like, hold up. I don't think I said damn, first of all, because my mom, I also worked with my mom too, so I was just like, my mom would kill me. She would cartel execute me if she were to hear me curse. Second of all, is that really what I'm getting talking to right now? And the person was just like, yeah, it's a family-friendly environment, you know. What if someone wasn't wearing an earpiece and then the walkie came over and it heard you say damn? And I was just like, first off, these walkies are shit. These walkies are like potato. I cannot even understand anything that comes out of these walkies. How would a customer, let alone ones that don't speak English, understand what comes over the walkie? Second of all, why am I getting yelled at for cursing, with air quotes cursing, when there was people shoplifting, like vandalizing store property? Why am I getting yelled at for saying damn over people, over the longevity of the period that it took for the people to get to the crime scene? And the person was just like, yeah, we talked to them about that too with the own issues, but you cannot say damn over the walkie or anything that sounds like a swear word. So I was just like, you can't even say son of a biscuit? And she was just like, don't get smart with me. And I was just like, well, I was thinking to myself, I didn't really outright say it. I was just like, well, I thought I was working with civilized people, not some tattletailing first graders that cared about nothing but themselves. And I was so upset, because it's just like, I pictured this scenario in my head, where like the one person was talking to the other person about it, and like, the funniest part is that the tones are completely different. It's just like, just so you know, someone over the walkie, this kid right here said a swear word over the walkie. And then the other one's just like, oh, really? I need to talk to him about that. And then like, it just cuts back to the one person. It's just like, oh, also there was someone destroying store property and I took about a half hour to respond to it. Like, that's exactly what I pictured in my brain. Like, I pictured them treating me swearing with air quotes over the walkie as a medical emergency, like the most federal level crime response that you could ever have, while they just let some immigrants who don't even speak English go with shoplifting. Well, I keep saying shoplifting, I'm so used to it. But, them destroying the property, vandalizing it, etc., etc. And that's sort of what ticked me off as well. And then back to the store thing that I was talking about earlier. Because we're not told to interfere with customers at all due to lawsuits. Here's a tip for if you ever go to a Walmart. They cannot stop you from shoplifting. I'm going to outright say that. They cannot stop you from shoplifting no matter what. Even if you openly shoplift in front of them, if you get away fast enough, you cannot get caught. And like, you don't even have to like run out of there. You can just openly leave, because like the police will probably take a while to get there, and they won't know your name, they won't know they'll have your face, but like you can just like change into something, you know, they can't stop you. I was told that you cannot stop people from shoplifting no matter what. And that's sort of like, I understood that in a way, but then when it came to the door position, right, the door position, you're supposed to check people's receipts to make sure that they aren't stealing. But you cannot prevent people from stealing. I hated doing doors for that specific reason. And also, it was just completely boring and slow. But you couldn't, like, do anything. Like, they had a position you cannot fully utilize. And it was stupid, of course, third place. I mean, I extracted the gold sprite. I mean, let's just see if I had the gold sprite anyways. But, that's what upset me. So I would like pretty much just like go on my phone. Like I would still greet the people and stuff. I would just like go on my phone because there was nothing else to do. I was not going to stand there, whatever the hell, for an hour straight saying hi and bye to people. I had to do it for 2 hours once. 3 hours probably came up, but I got fired. And I was just like, come on. And then the one person that fired me was the same person who I disrespected, with air quotes, even though they were disrespecting me first. I was on my phone while watching the door, and they're just like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm on my phone, I'm on Twitter. I was like, no! I'm just like, but other people go on their phones during work time, other people be doing this, and I didn't get yelled at by any other person. I didn't get yelled at by any higher-ups that walked past. It was just that specific person who took their goddamn job so seriously. That person really pissed me off. And I was just like, but other people do it. And I kid you not, this one person stood at me like an eye, like gave me the eyes of an eye. Like you can look up eye right now, A-Y-E, A-Y-E. those beady eyes were staring at me, just going, no, no, no. As I was just saying, but other people go on their phones. Why am I the one getting called out for it? And yada yada. Later that day, I got into the office and then I got a talking to for being disrespectful. Even though, like, I was just like, well, you were being disrespectful to me first. Like, the dude who was yelling at me as well walked past me, did not tell me to get off my phone or anything. He was just like, what's up? And I was like, hey, what's up? The dude, the exact same person, was saying that I couldn't be on my phone, was siding with the one person who was giving me the eye look. I was just like, you didn't even yell at me. You looked at me, walked past me. Oh my throat's getting so dry. And I was just like, well, that doesn't matter. You know, you still shouldn't have been on your phone. And I was just like, but everyone else is on their phone. I've seen all of you guys on your phone. I've seen all of you guys doing whatever the hell but working. And I get yelled at. And something. If you be disrespectful to one of your leaders again, you're going to be terminated. Now, that does not coincide with how I got fired, because I was not being disrespectful to the people who were telling me not to sit down. It was just because I wanted to sit down, and attempted and was sitting down. I got fired. Not being disrespectful to them. That was a completely uncoincidental firing. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the store rant. Anyways, but oh, my throat's getting raspy. Anyways, let's get to my big announcement. Drum roll, please. I'm gonna make it go as long as I want to. Alright, I'm done. Psych. Robert understands what that was. Robert understands that. You know, psych! I'll do it again, you know. Psych, outro later. But anyways, I'm getting deployed on the 29th of June. So this month, 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks from now, I'm going to get deployed. I do not know when I'm going to be back. And yeah, I'm scared. I'm somewhat scared. But I've gotten to the point, I'm already enlisted, I'm ready to be deployed, shipped out to base camp. I cannot turn back now unless I, commit, if you get my gist. And I am very scared. You know, that's like another thing that's on my plate. I already have to deal with like being poor, being so busy in my life with all these responsibilities, because like I'm the only person who ever can do them for some reason. That's another thing that adds to my plate. And I've been so miserable because of how much like shit and stuff I've been going through, and it's like ridiculing me. And I'm excited somewhat, you know, I get to go to another state, get to go see the world a little more. Going into the army, gonna go base camp, then I'm gonna come back for my senior year, because I'm only 17, I'm a junior. So I cannot go active duty in the first place, and second off, the position that I wanted to be in also had no active duty positions for it, and the dude was just like, whoa, you got reserves, so that's nice. But the position I unfortunately wanted, which was to be a culinist, you know, the food chef people, was full in reserves as well. So then the guy was just like, all right, here's a job. It's going to be the jet fuel, not the jet fueler, but just a fueler. You know, I'm going to drive a truck around base. I think, no, I can't remember. Because I do get shipped out again next summer to actually do the training for the job, but I can't remember if I'm also going to do it at base camp as well. But basically what I would be doing is going into I'm going to be one of those like giant fuel tankers that you normally see driving down the highway or something. I'm going to be going to like gas stations and stuff like that within like a certain radius, and like going to fill up the tanks and stuff that gas stations have, and then I'm also going to be filling up like the cars and the other vehicles that are on the base camp as well. So like the tanks, I think there might be tanks. The planes as well. I think there might be planes, but the obvious like Jeeps and stuff like that. Those heavy dump trucks and stuff. I'm gonna be filling them up. Excited because I can't remember if I brought this up, but the dude was also just like, this is a job that's gonna get you enough money to go into culinary school anyway. So it's just like kill two birds with one stone. There we go. And I was just like, I mean, that's cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate the help, but like, I don't want to go to school pretty much after I graduate my senior year. Like, I am done with school for the most part, or at least for like a long time. I might go to college, but I'm not gonna go instantly. Oh my god, the Triangle Storm still exists? That's crazy. But it was like, I get that, man. It was just like, this is a job that's gonna get you the money that you do need if you want to go into like that schooling. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but also I'm scared. You know, it's gonna be nice doing something different with my life, but I'm going to be gone for... I'm going to be returning sometime in September. So I don't truly know where I'm going to be back, but I know I'm going to be in September. It's going to be like sometime in September, because I'm going to miss some days of my senior year, and they cannot penalize me for that. Like, they cannot, like, I guess put it in the grade book. No, I don't know. The dude was just like, you're still gonna have to like make up those assignments, but like you're not gonna get a 0 or anything like that. So it's just like, okay. So yeah, that's basically it. That's my big announcement, and then some, which is most likely gonna be the title of this video. You know, my big announcement, and then some with, yeah. Like I'm gonna go to the army. I got fired from my job, and some other stories that I had while working there. Moral of the story, do not work at Walmart. If Walmart is one of your options for a career path, turn it down immediately. Turn it down immediately. Because you do not want to suffer. Okay, Walmart sucks. Depending on what position you wanted, it sucks. Well, I mean, unless you got a position that you wanted. I didn't get a position that I wanted because all the positions that I wanted were taken. So she was just like, well, I'll put you in a role that pretty much does like everything. I was just like, alright. So I stalked, and then I had to watch the doors. And that was really it. But that's all. I don't know what else I'm gonna say. This video is getting too long, and my big event was like, holy shit, it's a half-hour long video. But my big event was like 5 minutes, while the rants was just like 20. So that's about it. I'm not going to finish this match in the recording. It's already gone long enough. Appreciate you watching. Support me, man. I'm going to be gone for a while, so don't expect much from me until like a couple months later. And I'm also poor, so expect like, well, I'm also fired, so expect more streams, I guess, in a way. That's about it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and support me. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. See you next time.